Hello, everyone, from the Matt Morris Digital Studio here in Fresno, California. This is the Beem and Dean Show, episode 67 on this November day. Scotty, we taped this on a Wednesday night for Thursday, but you just got back from the Save Mart Center. Another tough heartbreaker for the Bulldogs basketball men. You want to give us a little update?
Yeah, no, they fall 78-73 to UC San Diego. If you don't know about UC San Diego, that's the team that made the NCAA tournament last year, won 30 games. I think they were 30-2 or something.
Something like that.
30-3.
Yeah, really
won
good.
the Big West regular season and conference tourney titles. So they're a solid Big West team. They like everybody else in college basketball these days, it seemingly, have a bunch of newcomers on this year's squad, but they promoted from within one of their assistant coaches. And so this was a quality opponent for Fresno State to play and a good litmus test for maybe where they were at in year two. And for a while, it looked like the Dogs might get it done. Arguably the biggest win so far of the Vance Wahlberg tenure.
Right.
They were up 5 with a little under 5 minutes to go. Unfortunately, though, UC San Diego closes on a 16-6 run and takes them down. And you could just see the agony on Coach Wahlberg's face post-game, just with trying to get this program moving in the right direction. And it's just so hard right now because there was a little energy in the gym in the second half. Not a gigantic crowd by any means, but the ones who were there were vocal. They were into it. The Dogs were down, I think, 12 at half.
Wow.
Made a big run to get back in the game and then eventually take the lead. Looked good. It was a pleasing brand of basketball. This junior transfer from UC Davis, Jack Manny, was playing fantastic.
Nice.
Big guy, kind of a wide body. He was hitting threes. I think he was 8 and 9 from the field, 21 points. You got a terrific effort from him. Zam made some plays in the second half, I guess in the first half, which I wasn't there to watch in person. Coach Wahlberg wasn't too happy with his performance in the first half, but he turned it on in the second half. But just down the stretch, so hard for them to beat quality teams. UC San Diego can shoot the ball. Pretty much everybody who's out there on the floor can shoot it for the Tritons. And, once they got down 5, the Dogs just couldn't get any stops down the stretch, and then a couple threes go in, and then you're walking out of there with a loss if you're the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But like I said, still early in the Wahlberg era and a lot of transfers, and I'm sure they're probably still trying to gel and figure out what they have and what they can do.
But
so,
everybody is, season,
right?
That's the thing. Everybody's trying to figure out what they are.
Yeah.
It's, Vance still trying to put on a good face, post-game and talking about, that he still believes this team is going to surprise some people and is going to be fun to watch and he believes in this group. And there's certainly, I think, a better makeup this year probably than last year. At this point, obviously everything that could go wrong went wrong last year, but there's a better makeup there. But the problem is, right, if you're this program at this point, is this fan base is it really going to matter to this fan base if you go from winning 6 games to winning 13 games this year, right?
That's a good question.
You need to make a splash somehow, and I don't know if this team is capable of doing that.
Yeah, Scott, well, we'll see. There's still a lot of season left there. Let's talk about the Fresno State men's football team. They host Wyoming Saturday night at Valley Children's, 7:30 kickoff. After all the events that happened last week, with San Diego State losing at Hawaii, and now San Diego and Boise play this week, and Fresno gets a home game. They're about a 3.5-point favorite at home. Might be a little wet out there on Saturday night at Valley Children's. What's your thoughts on the Dogs and the Cowboys?
Well, first off, I'm surprised that line is only 3.5. Weren't you a little surprised when you saw that?
Extremely.
I figured that would be closer to like 6 or 7, at least.
I think my partner in crime has a play on that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think I might. I mean, I had to in the end because I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, are they seeing something out of Wyoming that I'm not seeing? And I don't claim to be an expert on Cowboy football at this point, Dean, by any means.
Right.
But I mean, this is a middle of the road, maybe a little bit below middle of the road Mountain West football team.
I actually know them pretty well because they played my Colorado Buffaloes earlier this year in Boulder, and they got beat like 34-14. So I don't know where this line's coming from either. I think it's a smart play what you're doing. We'll show that at the end of the show again. Scott's got a play on this game, and now it's going to come down to Carson Conklin. So what are your thoughts on Conklin?
Is it though? Do you think in this game in particular? Now I'm pretty confident. I've said it before on this show that they're going to need to get some more production out of the passing game to ultimately win if they want to, have visions of winning a Mountain West title, obviously, and beating like a Boise again, San Diego State, UNLV, whoever it ends up being, like in the championship game, or even going to San Jose State and beating San Jose State, a team that can score the ball, or beating Utah State, who can score. But Wyoming's offense is always just kind of a work in progress. It never feels like it's that explosive. They kind of have a certain brand of football. So I almost feel like this will be somewhat of a low-scoring battle, and that maybe Carson Conklin doesn't have to be that great in this game.
Right.
Maybe this will be more of, if the Dogs can get the turnovers defensively, maybe they can win kind of an ugly, low-scoring game. Maybe that's why the line is so low. Maybe the odds makers are onto this. But yeah, I hear. I mean, at some point,
I think Bulldog fans are really looking. What's the one thing they're looking for other than a win? How is 17 going to look?
For sure.
Right.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how many games you win, people are still going to talk about the quarterback position if you're only throwing for 35 yards.
That's right.
And I think Carson knows that. I think Matt Entz knows that. And so, they're saying the right things. Like they're, apparently Carson is knee-deep in film this week. He's spending some extra time. Talked to receiver Josiah Freeman yesterday after practice. He's still publicly at least saying, hey, we got full confidence in this guy. He's doing all the right things. It sounds like his teammates really like him, which I think is helpful in a situation like this where you're kind of struggling statistically, but plus the team won, right? So everybody's feeling good about going to Boise and getting the win. But they didn't make Carson available yesterday after practice. Don't know if that was because of class, or if they just, kind of maybe thought, hey, let's give him a little break this week after.
We'll let him talk after Saturday night, right? Yeah.
Well, sometimes I don't even let him talk even after wins, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I hear you. Everybody's going to be watching, a lot of eyes on him, and it puts a lot of pressure on him too, right, as far as making something happen. But I think if you talk to the coaching staff, what they want to see out of him more than anything is to continue to take care of the football.
Of course.
The game flow will kind of determine what they need out of him. There's no way they throw for less than 35 yards again, right, Dean? I mean, there's no way that happens. There's only one way to go up from here.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, I expect him to throw for a lot more than 35 yards. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be one of the nightcap games after a full Saturday of games that we're going to discuss in a minute. I want to talk about one other topic really quick that happened this week after a lot of bad publicity. Nico Harrison was finally fired as the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, he made the trade when he traded Anthony Davis to the Mavericks for Luka Doncic. Scotty, is that going to kind of be his legacy, do you think? I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit. What are your thoughts on this?
In simple terms, yes. I mean, unfortunately for Nico Harrison, when you're in these high-profile positions and you make big swings like this, like he did, and if it doesn't work out and it, just goes up in flames as much as this one did, unfortunately, that's going to be Nico Harrison's legacy. I mean, I'm sure Nico, he's a basketball guy. I'm sure he's well-connected in the NBA. It sounds like he is. He'll probably land on his feet somewhere, maybe not as a GM, but maybe, working in the front office somewhere. But he'll always have to carry this around with him that, he traded away Luka. And, I mean, everybody talked about it when it happened. It's like you want to find a way to kind of like defend him. Right?
Right.
But it's so hard to with regards to this trade, right? Because it's like even, people who don't follow that much basketball know, okay, when they saw the trade, okay, Luka just got traded and he got traded for Anthony Davis and like one first-round pick, right? That's what it was, I think.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. And
Max Christie, right?
Max Christie.
And Max Christie might be the best part of that trade for the Mavericks because AD's hurt all the time.
Look, Anthony Davis at his
peak, he's a great player,
but he just cannot stay healthy. I mean, you have to factor that in. I mean, the guy... unfortunately, he is just injury prone. And I think the body has taken so many, injuries and bumps and bruises over the years that it just can't hold up over the rigors of a full NBA season. Maybe in a short stretch, possibly. And then obviously get some bad luck as well with Kyrie Irving.
Absolutely.
Get some good luck with Cooper Flagg, which kind of saved him for a short period of time.
Yes.
But that almost put a little bit more
pressure on it. Sure, that's a good point. Good point.
But... yeah, it's just, I mean, in simple terms, yes. I mean, unfortunately, Nico Harrison will forever be known as the man who traded away Luka Doncic.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, we're going to come on in hot. All right, Scotty, coming in hot tonight. We're going to start with some bad coaching decisions at the end of Monday Night Football. So refresh our memories of what happened on Monday night.
I know it's a ways ago, but I just kind of had to get off my chest.
Sure.
I won't belabor it for too long because I'm
fine.
kind of interested to hear you're coming in hot. I think it's a little more interesting.
Yes, it is.
This week. But I love to point out poor coaching when it happens, especially from high-profile guys who are making millions of dollars to be head coaches. Philadelphia and Green Bay on that Monday night game. The end of that game, Dean, now, way more egregious what Nick Sirianni did than what Matt LaFleur did, but I still have a problem with Matt LaFleur, okay? They get the third down pass play. If you remember, they're down a field goal. There's $1:40 left on the clock. They have 2 timeouts remaining, and they're facing like a 3rd and 12 or something like that at their own like 35. They pick up 9 yards or 10 yards on the play. They come up a yard short of the first down. At that point, you have 2 timeouts, Dean.
Right.
Okay? Clock's running. Use one of those timeouts. Already in the game, they had been lined up several times with illegal formations and all this stuff. It had not been a clean operation for the Packers. They had a defensive player who was playing receiver in that game, and I think he was covering up the tight end on a big play at one point. And take your timeout, talk about it, get organized for a 4th and 1. The game is going to be decided on this play. Instead, They rush up to the line of scrimmage. They come to the line, and apparently they're calling out the signals, and the defenders for the Eagles know what they're saying, and they're all calling out the play, zone read, run right, or whatever. They lose 3 yards on the play.
Right.
Game over, basically.
Right.
All right. But no, the game isn't over because
not over.
Okay, bad play by Matt LaFleur. I can actually see there is an other side of the argument of like you want to save those 2 timeouts just in case you can get the ball back one more time. But in that situation, I felt like your chances of winning if you don't get the first down there are so small that you might as well call the timeout there, regroups, get set up for the play. But what Nick Sirianni did at the end of this game, I mean, to me, these are almost like fireable offenses. Like, because this is your one job as a head coach is to be able to manage a game late like this.
Right.
All right, just to refresh your memory, right?
And we're talking about the winning coach, by the way.
The winning coach. It's 4th and, what was it, 4th and 8?
Yes.
I think it was 4th and 7, 4th and 8. They're at like the 35 of the Packers, right?
Yep.
And I think there's 27 seconds left or something like that, 30 seconds left on the clock. 4th down. Okay, the Packers are out of timeouts. So what do? Well, obviously, you just punt the football. You tell your punter, get rid of it quickly, angle it towards the side, pin them at like their own 10. The Packers are going to have the ball at their own 10, own 15 with 25 seconds and no timeouts. Their chances of winning that game in that scenario are very, very unlikely.
Very slim.
Very unlikely. But if you decide to go for it,
and
like Nick Sirianni does, throw a fade down to the right side. I don't know if he was thinking like, we'll throw a deep ball. It'll take some time off the clock. I don't know what he was thinking. He throws a fade ball. Suddenly, like, I think everybody popped out of their chair, like, because we all thought they were just going to, like, fake like they were snapping it, the old try to get him to jump off sides and then call the timeout. Right. And then suddenly snap the football, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Incomplete pass. Packers take over. The Packers are 25-yard completion away from tying that football game.
Right.
And they almost did. They almost did. In fact, if Jordan Love had thrown that pass, that first down pass, a little bit further left, that might have happened. They still got a look at it.
Yeah.
So, Nick Sirianni, what are you doing?
I don't know. McManus actually got a shot at 59 in the first kick when they called the timeout. He almost hit it. The second one was completely...
Were you thinking the same thing I was? Like, what in the world is going on here?
Totally. I mean, that game was just bizarre from the beginning. Any bozo who took the over on that game doesn't know what he's talking about. 45 and a half.
I didn't know you had the over in that one.
45 and a half at 0-0 at the half. But yes, those coaching decisions at the end were just brutal. I kind of wanted the Packers kind of win that game just to kind of stick it to Sirianni, but of course he survived, got lucky. There you go.
I mean, there's so much more that goes into being a head coach, I guess. But ultimately, when you're a fan, that's what you judge head coaches on, right?
Yeah.
Is decisions, 4th and 1s, clock management, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't see as much the leader of men stuff that is very important to being a head coach, being able to command an NFL locker room.
Yeah.
But that was on full display for everybody to see. And thank goodness that the Eagles got out of there with a win because I can't imagine Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio if they didn't. I still think it's probably going
I'm sure
nuts.
they were probably still yapping at him for sure. So, all right, I'll get to mine real quick. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but Fresno State, when they play Utah State next week, are going to be wearing white jerseys at home with green trim in honor of the Valley Growers. It's not that I don't think that they should respect the growers. I do. I love the green V. I love the green Vs on the field. But Scotty, are we taking this too far at this point? The alternate blacks, love them. The alternate blues, love them. White with green, no. Got to draw the line there. The buck stops right there. Does Georgia wear green at home? Does Alabama wear green at home? No. Sorry, don't like it. Not a fan. Your thoughts?
You know who does occasionally wear green at home?
Notre Dame.
Yes, they do. And they usually bust them out against USC is what it usually happens.
Get it.
I mean, they got the Irish thing going with the green. I'm not nearly as fired up about this as you are.
I am.
I just think of it as marketing.
I don't even like red. I don't like the color red because of Nebraska, but the traditional Fresno State Bulldog red, I'm fine with. I like the alternate blacks. I like the alternate blues. Wearing white at home with green trim, nah, you lost me there. Sorry. I know it's like a marketing player trying to sell jerseys. I get it, but I'm just going to kind of leave it there. So,
yeah, I mean, I will say this. The green V that Pat Hill
love the green V. Love the green V.
No, I hear you.
Love the growers. Love the growers.
You're not going to be alone probably in this sentiment. And we'll see like if it turns into a full wideout. So I mean, as opposed to the green, they're billing it as a wideout as opposed to the green part of it, right? But they are trying to embrace that, the ag mentality, and I think that the green V. I'll just say this:
why don't we have the ag person of the game, the ag company of the game, then, or one per half or something? Let's do it that way. But why do we have to put white jerseys with green trim on a team that wears red? Just my thought.
Do you have a problem when Oregon goes with like 88 different alternate unis?
I've never liked the alternate jerseys for Oregon. I truly haven't. I mean, I thought the chrome helmets were kind of cool. They were kind of the special thing there. But like, is Florida State going to pop green out? Are they going to go white and green, because they are white and blue because they're by the ocean? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. So that was it.
All right, I'm just going to move on from this because I don't really have anything to say.
Let's do it.
So
let's go with 3 and a bonus to see this week in college football. We've got 4 ranked teams, 8 ranked teams playing 4 games. We got Notre Dame at Pitt, Texas at Georgia, Oklahoma at Alabama, and Iowa, surprisingly, Iowa's still ranked, at USC. Let's start with the first one, Notre Dame at Pitt. Huge game for Notre Dame. Absolutely enormous. If they can get by this one, the road to the college football playoff for Notre Dame is pretty much smooth sailing. Your thoughts on this game?
Well, my thoughts are, remember, I've got a Notre Dame ticket to win the national title. And
I
will be watching this game closely because you're right.
Breath.
This is the last sort of hiccup game that you could possibly have. You never want to just chalk up wins ever because that's when you
this game's
suddenly
in
get
Pittsburgh,
upset.
by the way.
Yeah, I mean, the Domers are still a double-digit favorite, I think, in this game. But, yeah, Pitt could be a dangerous team. They could be a dangerous team. I know game day is going to be there, right?
Yes,
so they're going to be fired up.
Yep.
I don't know much about Pitt. You know anything about Pitt?
I just know that they just keep stacking ACC wins. I don't know a whole lot about them. I know their quarterback's pretty good. I like their coach, Narduzzi. I think he's a reputable, good coach. He actually might be in line maybe for another job. You never know. There's that college down the road from them that wear blue and white that maybe... That Matt Rule turned down, that maybe...
But do you think Penn State...
I don't
There's
know.
no way Penn State...
You never know.
The Penn State fan base is going to be okay with them hiring Narduzzi.
I don't know. You never say never. So we'll
they're
see.
swinging for the fences. That would be... I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't get hired. I'm just saying the Penn State fan base is immediately going to be online, too, going, what the heck are we doing?
I agree. I'm just saying, though, there is a college that needs a coach just up the road.
Unless he goes on to make the college football playoff this year and makes a serious run.
Which they could.
Wait, you never know. I agree.
What are your thoughts on the game real quick?
I still think without knowing a lot about Pitt, I still like the way. There's a reason that I grabbed Notre Dame when I did win the national title at like 28-1.
Yeah.
I like what they're bringing to the table. They have the type of style that travels well.
They do.
They play really good defense.
They do.
They run the football. They got 2 outstanding running backs. And, I think this game will be close.
Okay.
I think if Notre Dame takes care of the football, I still think they get out of here with a win.
I agree with you there. So how about Texas at Georgia? So these 2 teams played last year. In Austin, and it was a close game. I mean, every time these 2 teams play, it seems like it's pretty close. So Arch Manning, Texas has been playing better. Georgia had the slip up against Alabama. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Texas, Georgia, I mean, beginning of the year, we would have probably thought that this was going to be, battle of
college game day, maybe, right?
Yeah, top 5 team, something like that.
Right.
Texas needs it. They need it badly, right? Because they're kind of teetering on the edge of college football playoff contention.
Sure.
I'm guessing Georgia could probably take one more loss, but remember they finish at Georgia Tech.
They do
as well in the final game of the season.
Right.
That'll be fun, by the way. That game carrying some serious national implications.
Agreed.
By the way, for the first time.
No guarantee that Georgia gets to the SEC championship game.
Correct.
By the way, either.
Correct.
So.
You got A&M and Alabama, who are both they're undefeated, right? In conference play.
Yeah. They both are. Yeah.
They're undefeated.
Sorry, I thought
at this
Oklahoma.
Point.
Right.
I mean, Georgia. If somebody slips up, Georgia could maybe find a way in there. But and you never want to just take anything for granted in the SEC.
Right.
But it feels like Georgia's kind of finding their groove a little bit here late in the season. Early in the year, it seemed like their defense was giving up a ton of points.
Yes.
Is kind of unlike a Georgia team, but their offense was scoring enough to kind of win enough games to keep them in the national conversation.
Sure.
I know against Mississippi State, they kind of dominated them, last week. Really, finally, for the first time this year, kind of looked like the Georgia that we're used to, over the last, 5 to 10 years with Kirby Smart leading it. And so, So I still think Arch Manning at this point needs to show me a little bit more, but this is an opportunity for Arch to kind of maybe show people, hey, you know what?
On the
all
big
that
stage.
criticism that I took earlier this year, don't forget about me here.
Right. Oklahoma at Alabama. Our friend Kalen DeBoer, just after that toast stub against Florida State, just keeps chalking wins up. This game is in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma's been a big surprise this year under Venables, So, they're a good team as well. What are your thoughts on this game real quick?
I wish John Mateer had never gotten hurt because remember, I had some Heisman tickets from the Kansas trip on Mateer.
Yep.
I don't think it would have gotten there because I just don't think Oklahoma's offense is explosive enough to put up the type of numbers that would have been needed. And you have some other QBs starring like, Mendoza and, Ty Simpson in Alabama and guys like even Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. I'm probably forgetting somebody on that list as well.
Nussmeier?
Nussmeier.
Sorry.
We're going to put up that at the end of the year, at the end of the year. Now I'm going to have to I'm going to have to eat some crow about some of these
It's all
picks.
good,
But, we talk about it every week, Dean, like the SEC. You just look at that schedule every week now with Oklahoma and Texas being in that league now. And it's just like Alabama has just, it feels like they're going through a gauntlet every single week. Now, there's probably some other conferences that are, somewhat similar, but it just feels like when you're playing Oklahoma, you're playing at Missouri, you're playing Georgia, you're playing LSU. It's just like, it just feels like it's the biggest game of the year every week, right?
Yeah.
And so suddenly you got another one for Alabama.
Yeah.
And then Alabama's, I don't know who they got to end the year with. Oh, they got Auburn, of course.
Well, let's talk about that really quick because Vandy has Auburn at home with no coach. And Auburn's got the lead at the half. I mean, that's the SEC for you. Vandy had to come back and win that game. So,
that's the old always bet on the team who just fired their coach as well.
You go.
Whatever reason,
that's the Beem theory.
Whatever reason, it works. Yep. I don't know why, but it's been working this year, and we're going to try it one more time this week in the NFL.
Yes, we are.
Tease later to come. But yeah, Oklahoma, Alabama. I mean, I like Alabama there, but. Mateer offers something, and Oklahoma needs the win, right? They need the win to stay in playoff contention.
Yeah, and then Iowa, after the heartbreaking loss at home to Oregon, now comes to Southern California to play USC. Quick thought on this game. We're kind of running short on time, so.
I just like it that SC's still in the playoff hunt, and it's one of the great things about the college football playoff being at 12 teams, like I mentioned on the last show, is that as a Trojan alum, Iowa at USC late in the year here with USC having 2 losses, it's a game I'm invested in now.
Yeah, and this game might be in the rain, by the way, down in Southern California as well. I like SC to win this as well. Real quick, our dog of the week. Who's our underdog that we like? You want to start first?
Yeah, this is a dog we think could win the game outright.
Yep.
I'm going to give it out as a play at the end of the show here, but I already gave it out on Monday, but Air Force, I think getting 7 or 8, which would probably make the money line around plus 180, plus
Something
200,
like
somewhere in there. They're going to UConn. UConn's coming off a huge win over Duke, and they've been good this year, but I feel like it's kind of a letdown spot for them. Playing a service academy, kind of hard to prepare for, especially when you're coming off a big win.
Sure.
And Air Force, even though it's a lot of travel and all that stuff, they're cadets, they're servicemen. They're used to like this kind of rigorous schedule and everything else. And so I think it's going to be a tough game for UConn. I wouldn't be surprised if that one's maybe up in the air late.
Your buddy Dean's going to dig deep here. Give me Sam Houston State plus 9.5.
Here we
hosting
go.
Delaware at home. This is the same Sam Houston State that had lost every single game they played till they went to Corvallis, Oregon. We're down 17-0 to Oregon State, scored 21 straight to win their first game in Corvallis. Give me Sam Houston State to go home and maybe win, but hopefully to cover against a very good Delaware team, plus 9.5.
You're going against Joe Flacco's alma mater there, Dean.
I am, and I know Delaware pretty well this year because
that's Conference USA, right?
It is. It's one of the few wins that Colorado has this year. It's one of the three.
So digging into Conference USA.
Two of the teams we've talked about this week are Colorado wins, Wyoming and Delaware. How about that? Huge year for Dion. So we're kind of running short on time. Let's pick the one NFL game that we really want to see. You want to start really quick?
I think it's got to be Seahawks at Rams right now.
So we got the same one. Let's talk about that.
It's a great card Sunday. You got three huge games. But I just think are the Seahawks for real? Is Sam Darnold for real? Is he a true MVP candidate?
Right.
Can Matthew Stafford keep this up?
Right.
These are two of the best teams in the NFC. Some people talking about these two as being Super Bowl favorites coming out of the NFC. So Seahawks or Rams for me.
Agreed. Seahawks, Rams here too. Games at SoFi. These two teams are tied right now. They're both kind of up there. We talked about in the last show in odds. They're both very much right up there. The other game, Lions at Eagles, really quick. Any real quick thoughts on Lions and Eagles? I think that's the Sunday night game, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's a big game when it comes to possible, number one seed.
Eagles
down
on a
the
short
line.
week, by the way, too.
Seahawks and Rams as well.
Yeah.
The Lions play a super difficult schedule this year, and they've already played at Kansas City. I know
they got to go to SoFi and play the Rams later this year, by the way, too.
Yeah, and so it hasn't been easy for them, but. The Eagles are just kind of in a weird spot, all this A.J. Brown stuff, but then somehow they just kind of keep winning. So
we already talked about the Nick Sirianni stuff. So, all right, let's get into our money plays. All right, well, my man Scott Beem is here has figured out how to win the month against Dean. The way to win the month is just not have a play.
Yeah.
Just hold the money for the entire month. Maybe put it into like an IRA or something. No, my man Scotty's at $1,000. He's getting ready to fire for the first time in November. Go for it.
This is a good lesson, Dean, because you don't have to bet on games.
Or you can bet 9 of them, which you'll see in a minute.
But you don't have to, right?
You don't have to.
That's your advantage as a bettor, right?
That's right.
Is that you can pick and choose. You don't have to have a play on every single game.
You don't have to.
All right, so I did give out some plays on Monday. I'm coming in here the second week
show them one more time.
Of the show.
Yep.
Fictitious $1,000 that we each start with each month. Competition between Dean and myself.
Yep.
I'm going to go with some money line parlays, some old Dean Shiro money line parlays there. I'm going to take Cincinnati. I think they're in a bounce back spot here, coming off a bye week, coming off a loss at Utah. They welcome Arizona. I think they're the better team there. So I'm gonna parlay them together with the dogs. We already talked about that.
Yep.
All I need is Fresno State to win that game.
That's
50 to win. I'm getting plus money there.
You are.
And then I'm also gonna throw a 3-team money line parlay together. Very Mountain West heavy this week.
I like it.
These are really. I just can't see these underdogs winning these games.
Okay.
With where Colorado State is,
yes.
right? They're just kind of
in
transition. They're reeling. So I would be shocked if they beat New Mexico. Same thing with Nevada. Nevada is just, they have one win this year. San Jose State has a little kernel of a thing to play for, possible bowl eligibility if they could win out. And then I just think Ole Miss is a better team than Florida, and Florida's kind of
about a minute left
in the same spot, right? So then give me Air Force there as well. Give me the Giants, the old fired coach.
I like it. There
bet
it is.
on the team who just fired their coach.
Got it.
And then I have an alternate line there with the Chiefs.
All right.
Because I think they'll bounce back from a humiliating loss.
1 for 6 week this week so far. Not too bad. The one I hit was pretty good, but 870, 77. So I'm playing from behind. Let's go with 9 big plays. Too many to go over here. But the main one I'm going to point out, give me the Patriots. I bought it down a little bit, 9.5 against the Jets later tonight when you guys see this on a Thursday. I got a bunch of NFL, NBA. Actually, no, just NFL and college basically as what I've got because there was no NBA posted. So that's what I got this week. Take a look at it. Take a screenshot. Scotty, any last thoughts before we got to go?
Yeah, so you're buying down San Diego State and Fresno State there, which will be interesting. Just looking forward to another week. It's a good feeling to be ahead of Dean for the first time in a while.
Absolutely. We'll watch on Monday. We'll go over everything. On behalf of my man Scott, I'm Dean. This has been the Beam and Dean Show.